back to my channel. By the title, you already know that I'm going to talk about all the books that I read in the month of April. So the first book that I read is What She Left by T.R Richmond. This is my reading comeback book. Now, why do I call this my reading comeback? Because I haven't read a book since 3 years. From reading 5 to 6 books a week, depending upon the size of the book, I went to reading 2 to 3 books in 3 years. And recently I found myself missing reading, so I thought I should get back to reading books, and I wanted to pick something that falls under mystery, thriller, something dark, so that it keeps my interest spiked up and I complete the book, if you get the idea. Yeah, so I picked this up from my bookshelf. So all the books that I'm going to talk about today in this video are the books that I already had rotting in my bookshelf. So I picked this up because of the cover and also because it falls under mystery. But after reading this book, I regretted my decision. 100 pages into the book, I was like, somebody save me. But I didn't want to give up on this one because I knew that if I put this down, I'm never going back to reading. So I finished it, and I'm glad I finished it because now I can't stop reading. This story is about a girl who ends up dead in a river. So the entire book is about trying to find out if it was an accident or if it was a murder or if she killed herself. Now the storyline sounds interesting, but I did not enjoy reading it because the book was way too exaggerated. I felt that the author tried to create a build-up, for the reader to have this big bang revelation of the truth moment, but it did not work out for me. This book is around 373 pages, but I felt could have been completed in 150 or 200 pages. Yes, this book is an epistolary. If you are not aware of what it means, then it is a work in the form of letters. I mean, literary work in the form of letters, a collection of letters, or a writing style that is only in the form of letters. So this entire book is a collection of letters, blog posts, journal entries, various online media articles. There were so much unnecessary details in this book that weren't related to mystery, and they weren't even like good to know information. So there was too much of a dump, and like I felt it was such a slow and boring read. Would I recommend this book? No. I think I gave this book 1 star on GOODREADS. I do not recommend this. The 1 star that I gave this book was for the truth or the mystery, the twist moment. That was good enough. That was not that bad. It was good. It was okay-ish. So that is what gets 1 star. If the book was not so long, and if minus the unnecessary details, minus the unnecessary dump, unnecessary characters, then I would have given maybe 3 stars for this book. But otherwise, it was a fail. The second book that I read was And I Darken. This is my favorite read of the month. Oh wait, since I'm talking about this, let me also talk about Now I Rise. So these both are part of a trilogy called Conqueror's Saga. I read these both. I don't have the third book with me. I have to get my hands on that, and I'll complete it maybe in this month because I cannot wait to read it and finish the trilogy. I enjoyed reading these books. So I did not read these both back to back. I did have another read in between, but since I'm talking about the first book of this and first book in the series, and this belongs to the same trilogy, I thought I'll talk about them together. So this trilogy is a historical fiction. It's a retelling of the story of Vlad the Impaler of Rome and Mehmed II of Turkey. These books are written by Kiersten White. What a writing! I loved the writing style of the author. It was so good. It was such a fast-paced read for me. So the main characters in these books are Lada, Radu, and Mehmed. I haven't seen people mentioning Mehmed a lot. I don't think I've seen a review where people even mention Mehmed. I'm not sure why, but more than Radu, I feel Mehmed has a major part in this book. Or maybe it's because Mehmed is a third person narrative. By that, what I mean is that we see Mehmed through Lada's thoughts or Lada's narrative, or Radu's thoughts and Radu's narrative. So maybe that's the reason people don't really consider Mehmed as a big part of this book. But I felt maybe Mehmed himself was not a big part of this book, but his story was, which for me makes him an important character. For me, these books were more of Lada and Mehmed's story rather than Lada and Radu. Radu was more of a supportive character. I hope the third book has something more in store for him. I can't wait to read the third book and see how it ends. So let me break these down to you. In the first book, we see Lada and Radu, who are siblings. They are born to Vlad Dracul. Also, keep this, while reading these books, keep in mind that these events actually happened. But the author fictionalized the story, obviously. For me, the most interesting change in these books is the author decided to change the gender of the main character from a man to a woman. So for me, that was the most interesting part, to read about a girl who is so ruthless and hungry for power in that era. I mean, wow, that was quite a refreshing. The first book, And I Darken, follows Lada and Radu from their home country to Turkey. So they're born in Transylvania, then moved to Wallachia. Father takes them to the Ottoman Empire in Turkey to seek refuge because their kingdom back in Rome is under war. So he leaves Lada and Radu in this empire, in this Ottoman Empire in Turkey, and goes back to Wallachia. Now Lada and Radu are left alone in this country where everything is different. The culture, the tradition, the religion. In Rome, they practice Christianity, and in Turkey, they practice Islam. So everything is different in this country. Then there they meet Mehmed, they study together, they play together, they share their hopes and dreams, passions. And Lada and Radu help Mehmed in everything. Mehmed gets throned, dethroned, and throned again by the end of the book, at the end of the book. And then Lada realizes that this is not where she is supposed to be. She is born to be the Prince of Wallachia, so she goes back to Rome, and that is how book 1 ends. The second book, Now I Rise, follows Lada and Mehmed fighting for what they want. Lada fighting for throne of Wallachia, and Mehmed fighting to conquer Constantinople, which is today's Istanbul, and Radu helping Mehmed. Now, why is Radu helping Mehmed and not Lada, his own sister? Well, read the book to find that out. The book ends with Lada getting to the Wallachian throne and Mehmed finally conquering Constantinople. I think book 3 is going to be about how they sustain their power and keep their throne. So yeah, I hope there's much more for Radu in third book, because in these two books, in the first book, Radu is, I don't know, I didn't feel Radu as the main character, but the character development of Radu from book 1 to book 2 was definitely remarkable. each character's development was so well written, and no character in these books is similar. Every character is different, which also makes it interesting. The chapters are very short. It was a fast-paced read for me. Well, many have mixed reviews about this trilogy. I've heard people say that And I Darken, that is the first book, where is it? This one is slow when compared to this one, but I felt it was quite the opposite. I finished this in a single day. I finished this one in a single day as well, but I felt this one was much slow compared to this one. But both of them are fast paced, but comparatively I felt this one was slow, and this one just went by like this for me. Will I recommend these books? 100% yes, I will, because like I said, fast paced, super interesting concept. Also, if you're someone who is into romance, then I don't think these books are for you, because I mean there is romance in these books, but not as much. These books are more about royalty, nobility, royal politics, war. If I have to summarize this book in one word or two words, it would be power and religion. Now, why do I say religion? So Lara, whatever she does, it's for power, and whatever Muhammad does, it's in the name of religion, because it was either written in Islam or he thinks it would be good for his religion, I guess. I'm not sure if I put that right, but pretty much it. So yes, go and read these books. Super interesting. I loved reading them. Now, so in between, so after And I Darken and before Now I Rise, I read Everything by Nicola Yoon. What a cute, simple, short read this was. I loved reading this. I think I finished this in maybe 4 hours. This book follows a girl named Madeline, who has a chronic illness which doesn't allow her to step outside her house. She is not immune to the air outside, so she's been indoors all her life. Now there's this boy called Oliver, who moves in with his family into the house opposite of Madeline's, and they see each other through the window. They start IMing each other, they become friends, and one day Madeline runs away. Madeline, am I pronouncing her name right? I hope I'm not butchering it. Let's just call her Maddie, because that's what it says here. So Maddie runs away from her house with Ollie and to Hawaii, and there she falls sick and she gets hospitalized. From there she comes back home to her mom, and that's when she learns the truth. There's one twist in this book, and halfway through the book I think it's easy to guess. Now, why did she run away to Hawaii specifically? If I tell you that, you will be able to guess what the twist was, because that's where I guessed what the twist was, and that was the twist. But go and read it. It is such a short, cute read. What I loved about this book the most was not the story, but the writing style of the author. Yes, the story was good. It was very short, fast-paced and stuff, but more than the story, I enjoyed the writing style of the author. It was so good. Like I said, I picked it up. I completed this book in 3 to 4 hours. Will I recommend this book? Yes. Now the next book that I read is The Good Girl by Fiona Neill. I had a lot of expectations going in with this book. I mean, look at the cover, and let me read what it says at the back of the book. The Field family have just moved from their London home to the wild Norfolk coast. 9-year-old Ben's the first to realize that the reasons for the relocation don't quite add up, that the narrative of their family life is constantly being written. But why? Just what is everyone hiding? And there's a lot more, but from that I kind of assume that this is going to be a very interesting read. but that was not the case. This book disappointed me. So this book starts off with a teacher confiscating a phone in which he finds a sex tape. So the question rises, who recorded it? Did the boy did that? Did both of them know that this was going on? Why did they do that? If they knew, why did they record themselves doing that? Or if the girl didn't know that the recording was happening, why did the guy do that? So that sex tape leads to the revelation of more secrets and more scandals of the boy's family and the girl's family, and how it leads to the destruction of these families, and these families are neighbors. So yeah, nothing interesting about this book. Do I recommend this? Neither will I say yes, neither will I say no, because a lot of people have mixed reviews about this one. So maybe I will leave this choice to you. You either pick it up or don't. But I think I gave this book 2 stars on Goodreads. I did not enjoy this, to be honest.